Good morning everybody and welcome back to the channel. As you know, Leeds United played West Ham United at home and it was ended in a 2-2 draw. Was that a must-win game for both sides? I personally think it's yes, because obviously West Ham United went into that game pretty much coming off 5 consecutive losses, and if Leeds United had made it, picked up all 3 points, that would have been a huge gulping difference between the two sides, because David Moyes would have probably been sacked, and then obviously West Ham would have gone 6 games in a row with losing. And Leeds United set up in the 4-2-3-1 system with Adams coming in for Forshaw, which was in a sense better move, because I thought Forshaw played very negatively in the previous game against Newcastle, whereas Mark Rocker came on, did okay, didn't really impress me that game, but in today's game against West Ham United they played very well. And to me, I do feel a bit sorry for Jesse Marsch in some sense, because I know I've criticised him in the past, and I know a lot of other Leeds United fans have as well, but at the same time I feel like he's doing everything he can to be able to improve these players. And the players are doing everything they can for Jesse. It's just the results don't seem to come off. And I don't understand what he can do now to improve the squad, apart from the fact that the board need to invest in money. I know we've signed Voba, which is a fantastic signing for the centre-back position, but at the same time he has come out and stated that he wouldn't mind playing in the midfield role. So I'm really a bit hit and miss on that. I'd rather him be playing in the centre back role rather than the midfield role. And Leeds United never really do anything easy, do they? Like, we went 1-0 up from a fantastic goal from Gnonto, and you've got to give credit to Struijk, haven't you? Because with how the setup going forward, Gnonto is so direct, isn't he? Like, I really like Gnonto. I really rate him for such a young kid. But anyways, Gnonto was being direct, cut across goal, passed it to Somerville, and obviously you could see Struijk running on the outside. So 2 defenders, he pulled 2 defenders out, and it made them think that the ball was going to go out wide. But a fantastic reverse ball from Somerville into Gnonto on the half volley to make it 1-0 to Leeds United. And to be honest with you, in that first half, Leeds United were the better team by far. They was very controlled. The passing, they seemed to be very confident on the ball. The pressed well. There was attacking well. Everything was so done well. Everything was done correctly, and I felt like after that goal had gone in, I felt like we was going to win that game with how Leeds United were playing, how lethargic and slow West Ham were in that first half. I thought we were going to win this game. But then the disappointment came, didn't it? With a silly mistake from Struijk. I know it wasn't on purpose, it wasn't intentional, but a penalty was given, and then it went to VAR. They checked it, and it went, and then the score had put it away to make it 1-1. And I was very disappointed in that half when that went in, because I think throughout the first half, West Ham had 1 shot, and obviously that was the penalty. 1 shot on target, and that was the penalty. And with how Leeds United were in that first half, like, I just couldn't see how West Ham could handle that pressure, because when Leeds were at it, even in the second half, when Leeds were at it, West Ham could not deal with our pressure. And the one thing that I liked, I know it didn't work. It worked against Newcastle very well. Our defence was really deep, you know, and it was nice to see in a couple of occasions where, instead of playing so high up the field, the 2 centre-backs were left back, and Ayling played well. I thought he provided a lot of width, but I feel like he's always good. He's always been good at going forward, and he's always been good at coming back in defence. So I've always had confidence in Luke Ayling. But it was nice to see that when Leeds United were defending, every man was behind the ball. You could even see Rodrigo dropping back into midfield, which surprised me a little bit, because usually that's not how Jesse Marsch wants to set up. But maybe this is the new way of the 4-2-3-1 system. And if that's going to be how it is, if we can sign and bring in some extra bit of depth, and we can bolster up our defence and stop conceding as many goals, I feel like the system's going to work very well. I thought Aronson played well. He played well down that flank. He caused quite a lot of issues for for the defence. Elland, like I said, he played very well. Struijk played well. I felt like, apart from the 2 goals, Leeds United played well. Overall, it was a good point. We needed 3 points, but it was a good point in the end of the day. Rodrigo, I thought Rodrigo looked good. He looked very lively, and obviously he scored that goal. But when West Ham went into half-time at 1-1, obviously that would have boosted up their confidence to be able to come out in the second half, to be able to put pressure on Leeds United, because at the end of the day it was 1-1, so no one was winning, no one was losing. And that goal... And this is why I always say Leeds United constantly rush. And there's times where we don't need to rush. We did it against Newcastle. I mean, we do it pretty much against any other team, but there's a couple of occasions where in the Newcastle game we didn't need to rush, where we did. And a simple mistake like Aronson cost us that goal. He didn't need to rush. Fair enough, he was under pressure, but at the same time, with his ability to be able to skip past players and take players on, he's got that in his locker. So I don't understand why he had to rush back. Like, I understand he was trying to get the ball away, but like Jesse Marsh came out and stated, Leeds United didn't look like they wanted to play with the ball. They just had no confidence in that second half. Like, every time they got the ball, they just wanted to get rid of it. And with that second goal for West Ham United, Aronson just pretty much gave it away, passed it straight to Scamacca, and I'm not going to discredit the goal because it was a brilliant finish, but he turned and shot in off the post to make it 2-1, and that was pretty much like, what, 30-40 seconds after the first half started. And this is what I mean, Leeds United don't need to rush constantly. Like, there was fine. Like, once they got control of the game, once they had a little bit more composure again, they seem to be okay. But when teams come at us, we seem to panic. Like, in the first half, you could see West Ham didn't really press us as much. West Ham just gave us as much time, in a sense, to play our way. But when teams come at us and press us, we panic. It was the same as under Bielsa. When a team comes at us, we constantly struggle, and that's what West Ham did. They upped the tempo of the press. They played our game, and in a sense made us make mistakes, and that's how we managed to concede the second goal. But it's like, as well, how do we play so well in games but we don't get anything? Like, we're constantly dropping points. We're either drawing or losing. Sometimes it pays off, and when it pays off, it's amazing. It's an amazing watch. But when it doesn't, it's so frustrating, because there's been so many times now, like right at the start of the season when we played against Southampton, we was 2-0 up, and then we end up drawing 2-2. And same tonight, we played so well, points that we needed, but we dropped points again. And it's like, what else is Jesse Marsh meant to do? He's doing everything for the club. He's doing everything for the players, and the players are giving back. And it's like, how can we pretty much criticise someone now on the performances of players? Because we played well against Newcastle, we played well against Manchester City, we played well against West Ham. We don't get anything from it. So whose fault is it now? Is it the players? Is it Jesse? Or is it the board? And I don't understand what we can do to improve this side. I'm not going to discredit West Ham in the second half, because they did play well. They played a lot better than what they did in the first half. And Leeds United controlled the first half well. West Ham did in the second half. So in a sense, it was very even towards the end. So a point for both teams is well deserved. But at the same time, it's very frustrating for the likes of us when we are playing well, but we just never seem to pick up anything anymore. But I've always said that we've never really done anything great against West Ham. I've always struggled against West Ham, and I've always thought West Ham was a bit of a weird team, because if you look at them, they're very compact. Like, David Moyes sets them in a way where they are very compact, apart from this season. But in previous season, even if you look at Everton, they're not always going. I think they set up more like a Newcastle, where they're more balanced. Like, they're not going to do a lot of the work off the ball, but they stay very compact, and the man mark very well. They're a very tall team, very strong team, and when they counter, they are very clinical, or they used to be very clinical. And this is what Leeds United used to struggle with, especially on set pieces. But this is why I always say, it's like, if Leeds United can stop rushing their play, if they can start having a little bit more confidence on the ball and being less nervy on the ball, I feel like we're going to be fine. Bring in a couple of new signings and we should be okay. I don't know how to feel about it, to be honest with you, with the result. Like a 2-2 result against West Ham, the likes of Nottingham Forest picking up points. That's not something I really want to see. We've got Aston Villa next, which is going to be a very tough game. But I guess we'll have to go in there confident that we'll get something from that game and hope and pray that we can pick up another point or two. But anyway, guys, comment down below what's your thoughts about the game. Are you disappointed? Are you frustrated? Are you happy? Anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.